I don't know. You may want to ask Sean if he can arrange some 2 rand tequila specials later.
No one wants that. No one wants that.
What do you got? Yeah. Come on, Sean, you can do it.
You won't like me when I'm drunk.
Just as an aside, before we get back to the chronology of the story, what was with that Bob Dylan shit, man?
Well, you and I played. I'd been playing out solo around Cape Town, and I was approached by a producer who did theatrical shows, and he'd seen one of my shows, and he came up to me and he said, "Listen, I really want to put together a Bob Dylan tribute show." And I said, "I fucking hate tribute shows."
Yeah.
That is the first thing I said. I was like, "I'm sorry, I hate tribute shows. I don't like them at all."
Yeah, I think that's a point you kind of might need to reiterate, to people that some people, maybe who are watching the video or even some of these people, that original musicians have, some of them anyway, I do too, are very different animals to tribute show musicians.
Yeah, I mean, not to take anything away from those cats, because everyone's got a gig, and that's their gig, and that's cool as well, But it's just, for me, for myself, I didn't ever want to be a part of something like that. It just wasn't where I was at. I was doing we were working on the first Mission Men album, and my head was in a completely different place, and the last thing I wanted to do was like a tribute show. But he was very persistent, and he came to see me again and again and again. And about the fifth time he came to see me, I said, "Okay, cool. Well, let me think about it." And I sat down and I spoke to my wife and we chatted. And I was like, "Man, okay, actually, hold on. If I'm going to do this," I started thinking about Dylan as a songwriter, as the quintessential songwriter, singer-songwriter. He's like the source, And so I thought, okay, well, how cool would it be to kind of approach it in the way that you ask other songwriters to pay tribute to him in that way. So you're not putting on like a 60s pair of flares and a Dylan wig and you're singing in the Dylan voice. You're going on as Anton Marshall and Andy Lund, and we are paying tribute to the source. This is where it all came from. And that's kind of how I approached it. So I wrote it like that, and we kind of directed it and did that. And
turned out to be a very well-received show, generally speaking, and you had a lot of guests on that show as well that sort of had come on board.
Well, I think that the idea was that I didn't want to make it, the Andy and Anton and Art and whoever show, I wanted it to be about the music. So my idea was to have every show have a different guest artist come and perform with us. So we had a bunch of people from like Inga from Lark and
Valiant was there.
Valiant Swart and
Robin
Auld and Francois van Coke and people from very varied kind of musical. And all I needed to say to those guys were, "Hey, we're doing this show and this is the kind of idea behind it." And everyone was like, "Yeah, fuck, that's a cool idea. Let's do it." So we'd say, "Okay, here's a bunch of songs. Pick 3, learn them, and rock up on the night." And it was a great experience. And I think one of my fondest memories, is kind of being on that stage with you guys and everyone who played in it, and it was cool.
All right, and that was my Bob Dylan question, basically. Let's take a step back. Let's go back.
He was awesome in the show. He's been awesome.
It's a plug, man. Yeah. But let's take a step back, while we're still working towards the sort of second half of the Roswell Kings. During this time, Andy, you stopped drinking.
No.
You
I don't know where you get your information from.
You continued drinking.
This Rolling Stone, dodgy sources. No. It kind of was near the end of Roswell Kings.
It was.
Yeah.
Our sources are.
It was 2005. Five. After the jug at Mercury. Screw you, Sean. Actually, you know what? It wasn't after the jug at Mercury. The jug at Mercury came after that.
That's another story. We'll get to that in a moment.
Okay.
Because that wasn't.
Planned.
I'd forgotten about that. Actually. What was it?
Essentially, what had happened was
It wasn't a strip show either.
Roswell Kings had been playing out a lot. We were playing loads of gigs. We were out and about, and you know what it's like. You're out and about all the time. You meet people, and they're like, "Hey, you know, here's a Jägermeister here," and we weren't. I didn't drink. I'm not a big drinker, but you're out and people give you shooters. And what ended up happening was I started getting really bad hangovers. I'd like wake up and have like the worst hangover, and for like 2 days I'd be like on my ass, and I was unproductive, and I started feeling really horrible about it. So I thought what I need to do is just detox. I needed just to detox, stop drinking for a week or two, you know, just clean the system out. So I did that, and after 2 weeks I was like, oh, this feels kind of cool. Maybe I'll not drink for a month, make it a clean month. And a month came by, 2 months came by, and kind of 8 years down the line, I just never started again. So it was never an addiction thing. It was never a thing that, you know, there was a problem or anything. It was just kind of like I kind of felt that I felt better when I wasn't drinking, and you know, we could finish this and I could sit at the back and I could have a whiskey and it would be no big thing for me. But it just kind of, I know that I've got shit to do tomorrow, and I feel better.
8 years dry, huh?
Well, no, just 8 years.
8 years.
And I haven't been thirsty.
But it led to some good things too, didn't it? Indirectly.
Yeah, well, it just kind of led to, it was a kind of a time in my life where things were just changing. It was a time of life where Roswell Kings, I'd kind of realized that I didn't want it anymore, and I loved everyone who was involved with it, but I didn't want it anymore. What had happened was, just by chance, I'd started playing some solo shows at acoustic guitar and go play downstairs at Mercury and play a couple of covers, a couple of other songs that never really made it into Roswell Kings, and I started realizing, wow, that feels really good, because there's none of the business, none of the expectation, none of all the other stuff outside of the music that goes with it. It was just pure and just really fun. And I really fell in love with playing music again through that. So that was happening, you know, and then I met my wife at the same time, and that was something rad and new and something I knew from the first day that, you know, I wanted to be with, someone I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. And so it was kind of like, you know, all of these things kind of happened, and you know, it was that late 20s thing that I think a lot of people go through, where you go, okay, fuck, I'm not a kid anymore, and shit's changing. And it's never like a moment where you go, oh wow, I'm not a kid anymore. It's just life kind of happens, and you kind of just need to ride it. And I think I just let go of the reins and just kind of hope for the best.
Is it a lot asking you to tell the story of how you actually expressed out loud after a night you got into a car with some people, and yeah.
She made me promise I wouldn't.
But now you have to.
No, just the first night the first night that my wife and I kind of, we didn't even get together. The first time we met up, we'd known each other for many, many years, and we'd lost contact, and we kind of swapped numbers a few years later, and then lost contact for a few years, and then literally 8 years after first meeting her, we bumped into each other again, and we spent the night just sitting and talking, and we spoke the biggest load of shit, and we came up with these grand ideas, and we had these like silly ideas of like, hey, we'll get married, we'll have a kid, and we'll travel, and we'll do this, and we'll do that, and it was all said in jest. And we were supposed to go and watch a band play, and we missed the band completely because we were sitting downstairs and just talking. And after that, I got into the car that night with two of my best friends, Matt, who was in a band called Perez, and Warren Leisha, who was from Plum. And I said, fuck, I'm going to marry that woman. And that was the first thing that I said as I got into the car. I was like, and they were like, yeah, whatever. I was true to words, man.
And she's sitting over there.
Yeah, no. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. They say they don't want you to tell the story. Actually, she does. How's Hudson doing?
He's good. He's good.
How old is he now?
He's 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah.
And it's been about also 8 years with Kilda.
Yeah. Same time frame. That kind of, we met over that weird grey patch that I was going through, and yeah, it was a shift and yeah, a better road.
Your current musical focus or project is a project called Andy Lund, significantly Andy Lund and the Mission Men.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, you released an album as well, but you've been playing through a couple of years now as well.
Yeah, we've been playing probably, I lose kind of track of, but a long time, I think probably 6-7 years, Sean.
That long? Really?
Has it been that long? Yeah. And so, yeah, it kind of came by chance as well. The solo stuff I was playing out live, and I fell in love with Bryden Bolton, and Bryden and I.
Wait, let's rephrase that. Hold on. What?
No, I Bryden, who's a very tall, good-looking gentleman. Him and I became good friends, and we were hanging out, and I was playing these shows, and he said, "Hey, if you ever need a bassist, just let me know." And I was like, "Wow, that would be amazing!" Like,
Braden was with Benguela, right?
yeah, still is, and then so we started playing as a two-piece, and then we bumped into Sean, who I'd known from years before when he was playing with Max Normal.
Sean O'Tim, that is.
That's Sean O'Tim, that's right. And we bumped into each other. And Sean had actually done a recording with me for a Roswell King song that we never ended up releasing. And so we kind of knew each other professionally. And we were chatting one night. And I said, yeah, Brian and I are playing. We've got this gig. We're kind of looking for a piano player. And Sean was like, well, I play a bit of piano. And I'll do the gig if you want, someone to. I was like, damn right, you're absolutely. So we did the show, and then it was kind of just like grew from there. And I said to the guys from the beginning, I said, what you guys are all doing your other things, so it's give whatever you want to give. If you can give an hour, give one gig a year, whatever, And so I love this idea of having it being Andy Lund and the Mission Men, where I could go out and do it solo, or whoever wants to join can join. And I kept it quite open-ended, and it still is to an extent. Anyone who wants to play with us can. But as the years have gone by, we've solidified into like a really tight group. And Sean and I have been playing together for a long time, and it's really always as special as it can get.
Soundtrack for Muted Heart was your album.
Yeah. We released an EP before that.
Oh, yeah.
A little EP, and then Soundtrack was the first full length that we did.
The producer is sitting in here as well. I saw you.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Dirk Hugo.
Yeah.
Hi, Dirk. There's you want to produce my album? Personally, I thought it was a great album. I know of several critics and colleagues or people in the media that did, but there were also some that I don't know, for some reason didn't buy into it. I wanted to get your opinion on what do you think is the difficulty with, or was the difficulty with the album? That it did or didn't do, what was it?
I think the thing with Soundtrack for a Muted Heart, I think it's a difficult question because it's difficult to take negative press. And I take it very, very personally, I think everyone does. But I think with time and distance, looking back at it, I think my music that I've always written is not really genre specific. It kind of you find it difficult to kind of put it into these little tight blocks. As it's not really folk, it's not really rock, it's not really alt country. It's not really this. It's not really, but it kind of has elements of all of those things. And I can't write any other way. I write from my muse, and it is what it is. I never try and steer a song to try and be more like X or Y. It just comes out the way that it comes out. And I don't like to overanalyze it too much either, because otherwise you kind of screwing with the formula. So I think because the music, I think people had preconceptions as to what they wanted it to be. And I got that from a couple of reviews, that it was too alternative to be pop, but it was too pop to be alternative. So I kind of took it as, well, this is how I made myself feel better, is that I felt that maybe those people were expecting it to be something, and when it didn't deliver on that, they reviewed it on that, as opposed to reviewing it for what it really was, and just what it was, music, you know. And I think that's maybe what happened. Maybe it was actually just a 3 out of 5 album, you know, star album. That's what it was. I believe in that album. I still think that it's incredible as a piece of art and a piece of work. I think it's a strong album. I think the production is incredible, and I think that the playing and the musicality in there is great.
To move on from, you know, as an artist, obviously you have to take the good with the bad, but then you move on to the next project, the next album. In this case, you've got an album coming out very soon.
That's right, yeah.
How do you approach that, then, given that?
Well, subsequent to Soundtrack for Muted Heart, the lineup has changed. Bryden left the band, and Sean moved from keys and drums onto bass, and our good friend Adam Hill, who's got an incredibly big pedal board, has he's joined us on guitar. He's super talented. And then Art Pereira was with us for a long time on drums, and he quit drumming, apparently. Apparently. So Art left, and so we needed to find someone as good. And that was tough. And so we've replaced him with a guy, Werner von Volsleben, who plays with the band, Tatum and Quibus and stuff like that. So the band's become like more of a band, like a rock band. There's more electric guitars. It's kind of developed organically to just where it is. And so the new album is a lot bigger. It's kind of stretches on either side. It's more heavier in parts, and it's more delicate and ambient in others, you know. So it's a lot fuller, more cinematic album.
What's the thing that after 20 years we've been talking about, what's the thing that is going to make you feel like you've been recognized?
I don't know, man. The fucking phone call from you the other day was quite incredible to do this. In all honesty,
you're already here, man. You don't need to.
No. I mean, I think the big thing is that, you know, in all honesty, you do what you do, and you look forward, and you're constantly thinking, okay, well, what are we going to do next? How are we going to do this? And I think everyone who I know and love and play with, those guys I love so much, everyone has this, you know, you're in it, and you're looking forward. No one stops and looks back, and this has been a huge thing to stop and go, shit. I mean, it wasn't until you actually called me that I sat down and go, my God, it's been 20 years. 20 years ago, I played my first gig at the Somerset Tavern. 20 years. It's like, you don't look back, and I never look back. And so I think for me, my only thing that I've always wanted is to have a kind of just a body of work, you know, that one day I can say to my son, you know, like, maybe I'm not here anymore, and you can go, okay, cool, that's my dad. It's like these albums, that's where I can find him, and that's where I can find the people that he was with. And there's so much in all of that music, you know, that it's so much love and so much emotion, not just from the songs, but you can hear it in the way that the people are interacting. And I think, and it's been the biggest part of my life, and music has been the constant, you know.
Very cool.
The song is called Chain Gang. Let us go, 'cause this town can't hold us anymore. Oh no, just let go, 'cause there's nothing for us here at home. So go, just go, and we'll leave all we know. 'Cause we're free from the chain gang now. Right now. Daddy he won't let you go. So he's gotta know. Put on that blue dress now. Meet me at the edge of town. So go, let's go, and we'll leave all we know. And we're free from the chain gang now. The road takes us far away, brightness of a brave new day. Can't believe you're next to me, clinging to our destiny. Don't look back, you're safe right here. This car can take us anywhere. With walls so high, how could we see? Can't believe we're free, 'cause you're safe up here with me. Lord, you're safe. Yes, you're safe. So go, let's go, go, go. We'll leave all we know, and we're free from the chain gang now. We're free from it now. Lord, we're free. Thank you. Thanks a lot.